Right, click the links, join channel here over at Subscribe. Now over at Odyssey. I see 11 new members over there. So Sports Illustrated is having some issues now where the union sent out a tweet where they said effectively that they're laying off all of Sports Illustrated. So what does the future hold for them? Probably not more of this, because this wasn't selling. So this is part of the humiliation ritual that the lizard people gaslight us into accepting. The goal is to break our spirit. And it's done throughout the West, where they constantly boil the frog to just grind you down. They put you in this position of accepting more and more abhorrent abnormalities, and you fall into kind of a sunk cost investment depression instead of forming militias and fixing the natural order of securing liberty. So how do you have a magazine if you lay off the entire staff? It's like, well, this is where artificial intelligence steps up and tries to write the magazine for you, I guess, which, honestly, we're probably pretty close to that. Oh, if you're an SJW, please tune out. Your long passive-aggressive comments annoy me all day. Just save us both the trouble. I do read the comments. I'll give you the honor of that, but they're just so friggin' passive and absolutely lame. They drive me up the wall. I'll admit it. Those comments get to me. It's like 10 paragraphs. It just don't watch the video. You're not going to enjoy it. You're only watching so you can fight with me. So SJW, Sports Illustrated, is laying off almost everyone. And the defense is that print magazines and print newspapers, of course, anything like that is in trouble, which is fair enough. That's been happening since the 90s with, I think, Slate was one of the earlier magazines that kind of caught on. But SI accelerated their destruction by putting unconventional women on the cover of their magazines, like, chicks like this, who, looks pretty good. Let's get her milkers in the angle. Looks pretty good from this angle for sure. And then as you scroll down, it's not what you typically have seen in Sports Illustrated. And they also did some elderly women, which is, one thing, but then they put men in bikinis on the cover. And the Martha Stewart thing is okay with me because she has a great sense of humor. She's not trying to be a sex object. She's whatever, how old she was. She's just having fun. She's just showing people you can still maintain fitness as you get older. So I got no problem with that. I mean, it doesn't really make sense for Sports Illustrated, but whatever. It's not the worst thing on earth. The chubby girls, some guys do like fatties, but it doesn't really make sense because it's a sports magazine and fat people don't play sports. They're not involved in sports. They're not athletic, but at least they're still women. So, that's a plus. That's pretty much the defining argument for men. It's like, well, she has to at least be a woman. These are real women. No, they're not. They're not real women because words have definitions. But the straw on the Weimar camel is the men in bikinis. That's just a whole different beast. Because, and follow me here, it's a man in a bikini. And that feels much more insidious because of who you're marketing to and what they're portrayed as, where your target audience are men from 18 to 50, straight men, which by definition means not gay, and thus, which, straight men, that's opposite sex attraction, and men don't want to see men dressed as women. It doesn't make sense. And it kind of begs the question, why exactly are these globalist magazines showing us men with silicone breasts? Because this feels like some kind of sinister left-hand path Moloch type of thing, biblical end of days stuff. Not even joking. Make sure you got plenty of ammo, rice, and beans. So I think if you're seeing men in women's clothing in the mainstream, things are getting pretty unstable. And if there's going to be a bounce back to stability, sometimes things can get a little rough. It's funny, but seeing the men on the covers has actually made me appreciate the fat girls a whole lot more because at least they're real women and not a mockery of them. And it's kind of interesting to see the pathway of feminism has gone so far that men are leading the way in intersectional feminism. Now, in the name of equality, men are able to compete in and win scholarships and prize money meant for women. So, congratulations, feminists. That is really proving that diversity is our strength in action now more than ever. I wonder how the women feel as they see more and more men enter their sports, their locker rooms, their private spaces. And if you believe in equity, that all people are just fungible cogs in a machine, tabula rasa, then men should be naked in spas and locker rooms with girls and women. Because discrimination is what the Hugo Boss did, and my TV told me that they were intolerant. And the worst thing you can possibly be is to be intolerant. So if you're a vagina feminist, you need to learn to be inclusive and tolerant of these new women, the new improved women, the ones with the hairy nuts swinging around. I mean, we don't believe in that because we know that people aren't equal and men are not women, and that a chubby girl is born and will die a woman, and that a man with fake silicone is just that. In this culture war, I absolutely support these BLT plus kids community because the feminists brought this on themselves, where they said feminism is for everyone, including men. So great, you're going to keep seeing the increase of men in women's spaces. Eventually, women will find their balls and put their foot down, but it's fun to watch them try to figure out the cultural Bolshevik oppression hierarchy because they're going to realize that trans is at the top, which to their credit, they put themselves at the top because they write most of these articles. So, I got to admire the chutzpah of them controlling the narrative that way. I wish more people on our side would realize that the culture war is actually very important. But the women are going to realize that gay and straight women are near to the bottom of the oppression hierarchy, at least with their intersectional, Frankfurt School, Saul Alinsky calculus. You're better off gatekeeping right from the start by saying, we're us, you're not us. We're drawing a perimeter around what we consider us. And we're not making this product or this ideology or this identity for you. It's for us. We're not trying to please all people. Not all things are for all people. You end up with garbage that offends nobody but pleases nobody. It's just pudding. And the thing is, you got to start right. You got to right from the start. You got to say, yeah, we believe in this identity. We're not globalists. We don't believe in that fungible cog in the machine. We think we're discrete entities, and we can form tribes based upon those unifying factors. Like, we know who we are. We are us, and you are not us. But feel free to it's the 4-panel meme of. You create something, the people come in, you're not being inclusive, and they ruin it. They chase you out of the thing that you created, and it's like the last panel is the cycle repeats. This time you answer with a flamethrower. So the thing with the clown world is people accept little lies to be polite, but then the bullshies use that, and they build these fictional castles based on these lies, where if you accept that men are women, it's like a contradiction in terms right from the start, then they need to be in your bathrooms, your sports, your trauma centers, and your shelters, because the left wing really believes that men are women, or at least they publicly pretend to. And the proof will be when they're in a locker room naked with a 6'4", 300-pound naked man with his, hairy nuts swinging around. It's like, I'm a woman. Yes, that's right. You're a woman. That's part of the humiliation ritual, is just making you repeat these absurdities. If they can make you believe absurdities, they will commit atrocities against you, or even brainwash you into committing the atrocities yourself, which is what you're seeing now. Or if they're playing golf or riding bikes or doing whatever for prize money, and men are starting to take first, second, and third places, all the places that have a prize associated with them, which is money, and women lose all scholarships and advertising deals. Eventually, it's going to hit every sport, because you have women's teams like the WNBA where the ladies are subsidized 6 figures to play basketball badly that nobody watches. It loses $10 million a year, but the women are paid like $150,000, paid for by the NBA to subsidize a woman's sports that nobody watches. But eventually young guys are going to go like, it might be embarrassing to jump on in there, but if it's $150,000 a year for playing a couple of games and it's just the easiest game of basketball you ever played in your life, eventually you're going to have a bunch of these 20-year-old guys who can play street ball. I mean, they can't play NBA. That's the best of the best, but they can play street ball. They're going to look at this and go, yeah, this is just too good to pass up, because a good high school player can beat the best female athlete in literally every sport on earth. So women's sports are going to turn into the men's minor league, and actually you're seeing it happen pretty quickly right now, where they're not just taking first place and the women are getting that. It's like the men are taking first and second place, and you have like the one woman taking third place. Like, this is what you wanted, right? This is inclusive and diverse, and this is equity, and this is whatever. It's like eventually the women are gonna maybe put the feminism, or like all you have to say is like, yeah, we're women and feminism is for women and these are men. Oh, you're going to get canceled for that. It's like, yeah, that's why they're scared. Anyway, so women's sports are going to be men's sports, which is great because women should be home with the kids, learning how to sew and cook and whatever it is women do. It's not equality, it's equity, which is what they've been brainwashed into believing. It's obviously it's all crap, but we're not feminists because, feminism is cancer as well as diversity. The only people who can stop this are going to be the women themselves if they want to, put their foot down and finally stop it. And it's funny because they're online and some of them are asking like, they're hinting that the men should get involved, and it's like, men aren't really involved in this argument. Well, I mean, not really. Like it's safer to sit on the sidelines because, like, ultimately, does it really matter if women are kicked out of women's sports? Not really. I mean, the high school girls, they're competing against men now, and some of them are, almost in tears at the idea of like, well, I was going to get a college scholarship based on my sports placement, and now this guy is going to take the scholarship away from me. It's like, well, do you believe in diversity and inclusion? Do you believe in it or not? It's like suddenly, no, I guess we don't. Hugo Boss said what? And the thing is, they can call you that, and eventually it's like it loses its sting when anytime somebody disagrees with you, they just call you istophobic. You're like, oh, okay, you said that. You said those words. Now let's move forward to the heart of the argument. And they really can't because they don't have a heart of the argument. Anyway, so when women want to stop this, they can stop it. It's like all you have to do is stop competing with them, and it ends instantly. So Sports Illustrated went woke, as did a lot of sports programs on TV, which is great because that's just consumerism for men. Like, we can crap on women all the time because it's a male audience, but also it's time to take a look in the mirror because sports and video games and all that kind of the consumer Netflix, Amazon, that's just bread and circuses to distract you from focusing on what's really going on. And it's a very effective distraction. Like seeing guys get excited for NFL. Like, what happened to you guys a couple of years ago? Like, when they're kneeling. That's part of the humiliation ritual. Oh, they're kneeling. These millionaires are kneeling about how oppressed they are. The National Felon League, when half these guys are literally felons and have a dozen kids all over the world, and then they're kneeling, and now they're singing their own national anthem or something. And if you're paying for that product, even if you're paying in watching it on TV and paying that advertising money, it's like, well, that's the ultimate cuck. To watch other men play sports is bad enough, but after all this humiliation stuff, it's like it's just worse and worse. Where's it going with that? I don't know. I got distracted. Those titties did nothing wrong. This Melker nationalism. We're going to go on the Melker standard. Anyway, the thing is, the other thing I want to say is Sports Illustrated was always, like, the bikini issue was always degenerate. It's kind of elevating women in the wrong position as, these, they should be wives and mothers, not elevated as this kind of Lilith, cum dumpster figure. That's the wrong message also. So it's sinister and degenerate for a different reason, but now we're just fully into schizophrenic Weimar now, where you have I want to say what's next, but I can't say it on YouTube. In fact, I might have already said too much. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, join the Subscribe Star, become a member over at Odyssey. Thanks to the membership on Odyssey. That has been growing just absolutely amazing. And I'll see you guys all next episode.